Good evening and welcome to Wisdom Walk Talk here on Black Hole Radio and my YouTube channel, Wisdom Walk 2 Self Mastery. I am your host and guide, Jojapa Maria and Saroma. February is the first of 3 fire months in this water year that opens a new age for the evolution of humanity with mind-blowing breakthroughs that will burn away that which is now archaic. My theme for this month is Relighting Your Spark for Life. Through 3 live broadcasts and accompanying videos, I will provide wisdom and insights from the movie Soul and from my own personal experience to illuminate how your extinguished spark can be relit, continuing tonight with Love Your Life. Now, let me give you an overview of tonight's program. I'm going to do a quick review of what I talked about in the last broadcast regarding relighting your spark for life by listening to your heart. Then I'm going to talk about loving your life as another way that you can spark and relight your spark, and really by asking, what does that really mean? What does loving our life really mean? And then I'm going to offer you a fire ritual that you can do to support you in loving your life. My quote for tonight comes from the great Arthur Rubenstein, one of the greatest modern pianists of the 20th century. And Rubenstein said, "I've found that if you love life, life will love you back." So, relighting your spark by listening to your heart. Again, as I said, your spark for life can't be lit by your intellect. Knowing and doing are 2 different things. And your heart has to be open for that spark to be relit, meaning you need to first become conscious that your heart is shut down. And I talked about how our heart gets shut down by such things as heartbreak, unexpected loss, and trauma in all its forms. Now, the good news is that the heart is naturally open. So reconnecting it just takes our willingness, our practice, and our faith. And I also talked about knowing the difference when you open up to learning how to listen to your heart and begin that practice. About the difference between hearing your heart versus your pain body. That negativity, that self-sabotage demon that lives inside all of us. And I gave these 4 supports for you to know the difference. One is your heart never yells at you, shames you, or blames you. Your heart message feels good because it is your truth. It never lies. The heart message brings inner peace and calm, not anxiety and fear. And the heart message can move you to tears versus the pain body moving you to anger, but it feels good when you get those tears out because the heart message brings compassion, not judgment. So we can open our heart, listen to our heart. That will help re-spark our life or spark it even more, because sometimes that little spark go dim and you need to boost it up. So loving our life is a way that we keep our spark lit or relight it. And so the question is, what does that really mean? Because when you think, if I'm suffering, if I'm dealing with, great challenges, as most people are, especially because of COVID, in regards to my well-being, my financial, strength, even my livelihood, how can I love my life, Jojapa? What are you talking about here? So here's what loving your life really means, because when we have these kinds of challenges, especially when they're dealing with survival, it is very hard to love life. But we have examples from history where, despite people being in these most horrendous kinds of situations, that they find a way to love their life. And I'm talking about people who survived slavery, people who survived the Holocaust in concentration camps, people who survived the genocide in Rwanda, people, and of course people who have survived war. There was a way, people found a way to keep living, to keep going, to keep finding something that said, this too will pass. I will get through this. And so I thought about, what is life to us, and especially from this higher dimensional understanding. And again, I point to the movie Soul because I think it does such a good job. And ultimately, I think that loving our life really comes down to being in flow, and with these following cosmic truths. Number one, life is a finite myriad of opportunities to experience the wonder, the mystery, the joy, the pain, the fear, and the love of this domain, which is a combination of spirit, mind, and body. Yes. And in the movie, 22, the old soul who just never had come down to earth, never had incarnated and didn't want to, she wasn't understanding this. She didn't understand about that it was about these opportunities to experience, more than just the spirit consciousness. And so when she does get into Joe's body, she wakes up to this cosmic truth, and that's how she gets her spark. Yeah. The next thing about life, we can understand it as an opportunity to grow our soul through sacred challenges that are attached to our sacred contract. And what does that mean? That means that all of us are born with some kind of core wound, some kind of challenge, some kind of something that in life we have to take on. And I always like to point to Helen Keller because she's a great example of someone who had this great physical challenge and who was able to learn and choose to not let that stop her from what her true purpose in life was. And so she took on the challenge of not being able to see, not being able to hear, and she turned it into this wonderful teaching for humanity, that just because somebody is physically challenged doesn't mean they don't have a soul or genius or intelligence, or that they can't influence the lives of other people. Really important. And then the third one I thought to share with you is to think about this as life as an opportunity to keep your promise to contribute to the evolution of humanity. Yeah. That before you incarnated, before you came down here, you actually made promises for what it is that you were going to do, how you were going to do it. And so loving our life, having a willingness to experience loving our life, it gives us that opportunity to keep those promises and even to become aware of them. I'm very aware of a promise that I made, and it has to do with children. It has to do with helping people remember, especially in human services, that what they do, say, and think, and decisions they make and decide ultimately affects the life of a child directly. Yeah. So think about this. When we are not in flow, we can't possibly love life. And that's what all these disruptions to our survival, to our livelihood, to our health can bring to us, okay? It takes us out of flow. So to be able to love your life, you must commit to learning how to be in flow, to have a consciousness of your spark, and to be aligned with your higher purpose. And here's what I mean by that, because in the movie, the lead character, Joe, he was clear that jazz was his purpose in life. That's why it was so important for him to get this gig, because he just had to do this. But the real reason that he was connected to jazz was to inspire others to be all of who they were. And he just forgot to apply that to himself. So when he experiences his dream come true, when he gets his gig and he plays it, and his mama even there saying to him, "Oh, wonderful, it's so great," he gets all these kudos. But then he immediately becomes disillusioned. And he says to the band leader, so what happens now? And she's like, well, you come back tonight and do it all over again. But it was like there was something missing. And from that experience, he becomes conscious that he was on purpose, but not connected to his highest purpose, which again was to inspire others to be all that they could be. And so that's what 22 represented for him. It was that opportunity for him to realize that, oh, I helped her get her spark in life. I helped her let go of thinking she wasn't worthy of coming down to earth and having all of what she needed to have. And when he remembers that, he takes that action and actually helps her get to earth. So there is this differentiation between us having purpose or knowing purpose and understanding the higher purpose for why you're able to do whatever that is that you do. Yeah. If this sounds complicated, it kind of is, but that's okay, because that opens us up to learning something more. So loving your life isn't just about everything is great, things are good, everything's in flow. Part of loving our life is wanting to get to that. So if you're not loving your life, that means you're not in flow, you're not aligned with higher purpose, but you can be. You can do that. You can get there. And I know for me personally, there are times when I'm not in flow because either my health isn't good, my money's gone, and I don't know how more is going to come back. But even in those times, I've been able to remember that, wait a minute, I made some promises. There's something I have to do. I'm here for a reason. So let me open up to learning how to get back into my flow, how to get back into that alignment. And usually when I'm taken out of the flow, I'm learning something that's going to strengthen me to keep me in the flow. Yeah. So again, it all has purpose. But here is a personal healing and growth opportunity I want to share with you, and it is a fire ritual related to this loving your life, being in this flow. So on a piece of paper, you're going to write down the names of a female and a male ancestor who you want to support you in this process. And next, you're going to write the following request. Ancestors, 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 I am willing to love my life and need your wisdom, guidance, and support for removing blocks to my ability to be in flow and aligned with my highest purpose. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So something in line with that, you're asking their help to remove blocks to you loving your life, being in the flow. And you're going to place this piece of paper overnight on your ancestor altar. Make one if you need to. And the next day, you're going to burn it as a faith gesture to transform the energy of not being able to love your life. Ashe. Because clearly we are here to love our lives, to be in that flow, to be in that alignment. And again, when I take on, if I've lost my spark, because maybe I've had a series of events that have happened that have just, taken me out. It's so traumatic, so much loss, so much, fear things that have happened. I may lose my spark for life, but I can get it back if I open up to believing that I can love my life, that I can be in flow. And we just need to ask. We just need to ask, and it will happen. I know. I've been through it. I know. It will come back. So here's my Sarah saying for you tonight. It is, a time emerges when we realize it is more painful to stay closed than to open freely to life's flowering. Yes, yes. Thank you, Mama Sarah, for that. So I am closing out tonight, as always, thanking my wonderful engineer who had to have patience with me tonight because we couldn't connect the phone right away. And so, Miss Yvette, thank you. Thank you so much. Many, many, and much love to you and your family on this beautiful Valentine's Day. And again, thank you. I couldn't do this without you. Of course, I want to shout out to all my regular listeners out there and all those who have wisdom walk with me, and you know who you are. To my family on both coasts and my spiritual kin everywhere, my transformational leaders, and my medicine brothers and sisters all around the world, and those who may be watching or listening in for the first time. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I couldn't do this without your listenership and support. Now, next week, I'll conclude my spiritual spills on relighting your spark for life with Learn Your It. And if you don't know what the it is, just tune in and I will tell you what that is, because it's really an essential part to having the spark for life work for you. Yeah. Also, the book, Wisdom Walk to Self-Mastery, Ancient Wisdom for Transforming Pain, still available on Amazon, Kindle, Barnes & Nobles, Abe's Books, Walmart, and other places online that you can access books. And last but not least, I want to thank my God, my ancestors, my spirit guides, loving entities, everything that walks with me, keeps my head to the sky and my feet to the ground and my heart open to do this important work with and for all of you. Please have a very safe, healthy, and happy fire week in this fire month. Continue to wear your mask, even if you've been vaccinated. It's no guarantee that you couldn't contract the disease or give it to someone. So continue to wear those masks, practice social distancing and safe relating, wash your hands frequently, avoid perceived safety and embrace science safety. And most importantly, do remember you are not disposable. You are divine. Good night now.